Alright, welcome back to your favorite trigonometry class. We're going to now look at ellipses that are not centered at the origin. Instead, the center's at HK. So if the major axis is perpendicular to parallel to the x-axis, in other words, the major axis is horizontal, instead of x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared, you got x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared. So if your major axis is vertical, now you have your b squared on top, or first underneath your x minus h squared. Right? Remember, a is bigger than b, right? A squared, that's where that a squared is. All right? So let's do some examples here. Find the equation of the ellipse with a center at -1, 2, and one focus at -3, 2, and vertex at -5, 2. So we got the center, -1, 2. Here's our center. Here's our HK. We've got a vertex at -5, 2. Okay, so we're going to see how far away that is. That'll tell us. Oops. That'll tell us the A distance, and we've got a focus at -3, 2. Right? Here's our center. Here's our vertex. Here's our focus. Here's our center. Right? So we can kind of draw this. I didn't draw that very well, but anyways, we kind of draw the ellipse. Now, notice the center and the vertex and foci, the vertex and foci are all on this major axis. So we know our major axis is horizontal. Oh my goodness, what's wrong with this dang thing? Come on, for the love. Okay, our major axis, let me draw that. Major axis is horizontal. So we know it's right, this was the point -1, 2. So we know it's the equation y equals 2. Right? And then our minor axis is vertical. The minor axis would then be at x equals -1. Right? That'd be for that minor axis there. All right, now the equations. We're trying to find an equation. If the major axis is horizontal, then we know we have x minus h squared, and we got the a squared on the bottom here at the beginning. Y minus k squared over b squared. Remember, a squared is bigger than a, it's bigger than b. Okay, we know this distance, a, from the center out to a vertex, and I can just count it here. I know a must be 4, but that's the distance from -5, 2 to the center at -1, 2. What's that distance? Well, you could use the distance formula, and you may have to for some problems in your homework, right? So if you've forgotten the distance formula, here's your distance formula, right? You can plug it in, and that ends up being, you got -1 minus -5 squared plus 2 minus 2 squared. So this distance, which we're calling a distance, ends up being square root of 4 squared. So square root of 16, 4. So there's our a distance. And then our c, a distance from the focus to center. So from -1, 2 to -3, 2. And I know we can just count it. It's just 2. Right? So the c is a distance of 2. But again, that's the distance from -3 to -1, 2, if you want to use the distance formula between 2 points. Alright, so that's 1, 2, we did number 3. I'm going to do this as part of number 3. So now we get to, alright, well that means b squared equals a squared minus c squared. So b squared equals 4 squared minus 2 squared. So b squared equals 12. In other words, b is square root of 12 to root 3. So that means the co-vertex up here and down here, that's a distance of about 3.5 1.464 it looks like away. So remember the center's right here at -1, 2. So where are these? So the co-vertex, we're going off of the center, right? So it's -1, comma, it's already at a y value of 2. So it's up square root of 2 from there, 12 from there, up 3.5 from there, and then it's down 3.5 from there. So there's the equations, I'm sorry, there's the points, -1, 2 plus 2 root 3. And there's the other point, -1, 2 minus 2 root 3. So again, that's like 2 plus 3.4, so that's like 5.64 is about where that is. And then 2 minus 3.464, negative 1.464 down there. Okay, so there's the co-vertices on that. And of course, we could draw the a distance of 2 away for the other vertex right there, and a distance of 4 away. So that'd be at what, 3, 0 for that other one there. Okay, there's a little better picture. Let me give you a little better picture here. Get your 3, 2, get your 1, 2. Again, that's a distance of 2. That's a distance of 4. All right, for those other ones, got these points, co-vertice points there. Now, the only other thing I did not do is I did not write the equation. Let me go back to this for it. So I know it's x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared. So x minus h, remember our hk is -1, 2. So x minus a -1 squared over a squared, remember a is 4, so 4 squared, plus y minus our k is 2 over b squared. Now our b is 2 root 3, or square root of 12. This is square root of 12 squared, so that'll end up being 12 on the bottom, equals 1. So we get x plus 1 quantity squared over 16 plus y minus 2 quantity squared over, this is 12, equals 1. Remember our b squared is 12 there. Okay? Alright, let's do a one where we have this create just this. It's not in any sort of standard form here, so we have to analyze it before we can even figure out, oh, this thing is an ellipse and I can actually do something with it, draw it and get an equation and so on. So number one, what we want to do is we want to complete the square. So let me get the 9x squared and the 18x. Let me get that together. I'm going to leave a little space. Then I'm going to have the y squared, the minus 4y, and I'm actually going to take this minus 4 over to the other side. Leave a space equals -4. Okay, because I'm going to complete the square here. Because what I'm wanting is I want this in this form, or it's got a b squared here and an a squared here. One of the two forms, right? So what I'm going to do is, let me take a 9 out of here. So I get x squared plus 2x space. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to finally complete the square here. So I take this 2 right here, divided by 2, squared. So 2 over 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1. That's the number I need right there. I add 1. Now, I would normally add 1 to the other side, but I didn't really add 1. I added 9. If I distribute the 9, 9 times 1 is 9. So I have to add 9 to the other side. I really added 9. Okay. Now I complete the square over here. I got -4 divided by 2 is -2. -2 squared is 4. So 4 is the number I need. There's nothing to distribute, so I can just add 4 over there. Now I can complete the square. This is x plus 1 times x plus 1, so x plus 1 quantity square. Over here, this thing factors into y minus 2, y minus 2, so y minus 2 quantity square. I got -4 plus 9 plus 4, so I got 9. Now the only other issue I have with this thing is I got to have it equal to 1, right? So I divide by the 9, so I can get it equal to 1. everything. So I got both sides of the equation by 9. So I got x plus 1 squared, now this is over 1, y minus 2 squared over 9 equals 1. Now notice, this is the bigger number. That's my a squared. Okay, that's my a squared. So I know I'm of the form, let's see, let me see. X minus h squared, so that's my b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared equals 1, which means the major axis is vertical. Okay, so I've got the major axis is vertical. So let's start writing, get rid of a little bit of junk in the way here. Let's start writing some information that we know. So here was number 1, we completed the square. So we have it in the form that we need it in. Number 2, our major axis is vertical. All right, because we got that bigger number right there under the y portion that's squared. What's my center of this thing? My hk. What's my center? Well, it's x minus h, so the h's got to be -1. Y minus k, so my k's got to be 2. So -1, 2 is my hk. There's my hk. In fact, let me see if I can't draw this thing. -1, 2. Okay, there's my hk. Now, a squared is 9. So if a squared is 9, a is 3. I'm going to count up 3. 1, 2, 3. There's one vertex. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. There's the other vertex. B squared is 1 for my co-vertex. B squared is 1, so B is 1. So I'm going to go over right 1 and left 1. So I can kind of draw this ellipse now. I just don't know where the focus is yet. Okay, but I could find it because we know b squared equals a squared minus c squared. So b is 1, so 1 squared, a is 3, 3 squared minus c squared. So c squared equals 8. So c equals 2 root 2. C is the square root of 8, in other words 2 root 2, or 2.828. So that's where my foci will be. It will be, where's my foci at? Well, the center's at -1, 2, but it goes up 2 root 2 from there, or down 2 root 2 from that y value. So up 2.8 kind of thing. So 2 plus 2.8 is 4.8, so it's about right there. That's where one of the focus is. -1. That's about 4.8. In other words, 2 plus 2 root 2. The other one's down here. -1, 2 minus 2 root 2. In other words, -1 comma -0.8 kind of thing. So that's where my foci are. My never did label my, well, I did label my center. My vertex would be at -1. Remember, we went up 3 from there. So 2 plus 3, -1, 2 plus 3, 5. The other one I went down 3, so 2 minus 3, -1. My co-vertex right here and right here. So I got -2, 2, and I got 0, 2 for my co-vertex on that. And it looks like I got everything labeled. Beautiful. So that's how you analyze the equation when you got to complete the square first, right? But you're going through all that same process there. There's a little better look at it. A little nicer picture. All right, let's do an application here. We've got Whispering Gallery in the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. It can be modeled by the top half of a 3-dimensional ellipse. So we can draw this thing. top half of the ellipse. Gallery is 47.3 feet long. Well, I know if it's 47.3 feet long, right, that's A, that's A. I'm going to put this center right there at 0, 0. So 2A is 47.3. So my A would be, what was that, 23.65? So that's that point right there, 23.65. So that's how far that distance A is from the center. 23.65 out to a vertex. Number 2, distance from the center of the room, which we put at 0, 0 to the focus, one of the focus points, 20.3 feet. So I know to one of these focus points is 20.3 feet. Okay? So that's telling us, hey, that's our C distance, 20.3 feet, right? So number 3, we say, well, we know B squared equals A squared minus C squared. That's our relationship. So we can find, because what we're looking for is the height of this. We want to know what B is. So B squared equals 23.65 squared minus 20.3 squared gives 147 point, looks like that's 2325 square root. I get 12.13394 feet. So 12.1 feet if you're going to round to the nearest tenth of a foot there. 12.1 feet, that's your height to the room at the center. That's the highest point there in the center of the room. There's a little better picture of that thing. And the equation, of course, would be make sure you square your A, and then over here we would take that and square it as well. All right, for our 23.65. All right, that's our A distance. Here's our A, and that's squared, and then there's our B, which was, what do we say that was? 12.13394 squared is about 147.2325. All right, thanks so much for listening. We will see you guys next time.